Today is September 3rd. Welcome on into Daily Cards Live here on ClaibsOnline.com, brought to you by Royal Banks of Missouri and Munganess St. Louis Acura. I'm Joe Roderick, joined alongside by Bob Ramsey and Rammer over the weekend. I know we're already up to Tuesday, but the Cardinals did it to me again on Sunday with their offensive explosion in the Bronx against the Yankees. They made me believe that they were going to put up a fight here this final month of the season. And then they lose 9-3 yesterday to the Brewers. They keep reeling me in, only to disappoint me the following day.
Well, you can't have a football mentality watching baseball. It's each game. You have to look at 10 game segments.
Right.
You can't just go with one. Now, if they'd won 6 in a row, and then turn around and lose 5 in a row. Okay, that's a little bit different. It was just a game. So you said, what'd you say, 10-3, whatever it was, 9-3, whatever the score was. Doesn't matter if it was 1-0 or 20-0.
Right.
It's just one game. Having said that, they're a 500 club. That's who they are.
Yeah.
Now, as I said that, now I'm going to give you hope. And that is when you're a 500 club, all of us, I was going to blame it on you, which is more fun, by the way, but we were looking at this really brutal stretch of playing contending teams. Oh gosh, how they're going to survive. I would say isn't it a reasonable statement to say the Cardinals through yesterday are surviving this brutal schedule, right?
They are. But then it turns around and I start to think back and I get pissed off even more at things like getting swept by the Reds or even earlier in the season, losing a series to the White Sox and losing
it should piss you off.
Right. And it just upset, even though those things happened months ago, it's still, I'm like, they just went into Yankee Stadium and held their own there. And then you look at it, and you're like, damn it, why couldn't they have swept the White Sox back? What? Why? Why is it happening like this? And it sucks. No, and I know that there are organizations, I know there are franchises that have it so much worse. But it just sucks knowing that we are a few weeks away from yet another year of back-to-back years, I should say, of no postseason for the Cardinals. Yeah. 2022 was amazing. That was awesome. Sure, it ended quickly, but that was a lot of fun. And now you're looking at it like, man, 2 years in a row. Like, it's so selfish. It's so, Rammer, you had young kids once. I have one now. We are very familiar with the whole, you spend an entire day at Disney or Six Flags, and then when it's time to leave, they say they didn't have any fun, and the whole day's ruined. And this is what it seems like, to where it's like, God, 2 years in a row without playoffs. Like, man, what, it's so
the Cardinals. So here's the bottom line: the Cardinals have ruined your day at Six Flags.
Exactly. That's that's what it seems like. No, and it's just 2 seasons of it, and again, this organization, and over the weekend, comments came out by Paul Goldschmidt about how he wants to play in 25. Might not be here. I would say right now, better than a 50% chance he's not with the Cardinals next year.
If the Cardinals said she would sign him,
but you kind of look at that and you go, okay, you lose Paul Goldschmidt, but this isn't a team that's going to tank. It's not a team that's going to say, hey, we lost Paul Goldschmidt, let's blow the whole thing up. No, they're going to rebuild from within or get other pieces to become more competitive, or in their eyes, hopefully become more competitive next year than they were this year.
Yeah, I think that's right. And Paul is playing a lot better, but even if he has a monster September, it won't change things, and his contract will be up. Now, would you want to bring a guy back? I don't know what you would, what number you would put on a platoon player or a bench guy few $1,000,000, 5 million? Would you even go 10? And if you wanted to come back saying, hey, you're probably a part-time guy, I don't know. None of that really seems like it would fit. You would think somebody who needs a first baseman would probably offer him more than you were willing to do. So
Right.
to say, no, he's not coming back, no way. I'm not saying that, but I think you have to plan for the near future with somebody else as your everyday first baseman.
Yeah, and whether that's from within or you kind of look elsewhere around the rest of baseball to see who that guy is you go after. And I think a big part of that too is, as we kind of play the game, and we can play this game for the next month, 2 months, even beyond, you kind of look at the free agent first basemen that are out there at the end of this year. It's a real nice class of potential first basemen that are out there. Or do you just stay within and say, you know what, Alec Burleson's our guy. He's going to be our first baseman. Wilson Contreras is going to be our first baseman. Lucan Baker is going to be our Jordan Walker. There are options from within that you can look at, or do you try to go make a big splash and get somebody from the outside?
Yeah, going back to the bigger picture and how Goldschmidt and Arenado as well, who are both hitting much better now. We all understand that. But I was kind of looking at the numbers. Between them, they should have 20 more home runs.
Yeah.
How many wins is that? At least 5.
Okay. Yeah.
At least 5.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Maybe 10 more wins. Now you're right into the thick of things and you're rolling along. I'm not trying to put a scarlet letter on those two guys, but when you put a team together, you look at the numbers, what your expectations are, and what they need to be for you to be a contender. And there's a big piece. The other big piece is the starting rotation, which has been very disappointing.
What were your expectations of the starting rotation going into this year?
Well, I really hoped that that we had really found an ace when they made the move in the off season, that we had at least one ace and then you could mix and match with the other spots. I was hopeful, which is not a good plan, as I've said many times. I was hopeful that Matz could be a solid lefty, a 500 pitching lefty, things like that. But we never got an ace. We never got much consistency. And, the rotation was just really, really worse than that. Subpar in my view.
I mean, honestly, for me, Sonny Gray, he's exactly what I thought he was going to be.
Well, let me say this then. Let me use this as a personal attack on you.
Yeah.
And that is, you should have been pounding your fist when they signed him. This is not what they need. This is not good enough.
But that's the thing. The thing is, though, I wanted them to go after. I was happy with them going out and signing him. And that just, he's just, that's exactly what you were getting. I knew that's exactly what you were going to get out of him, was a consistent once every fifth time. He's going to go out there. He's going to wow you every few starts. He's going to go 6-7 innings in most of those starts. He's not going to get lit up, and he hasn't gotten lit up for the most part. But if you look at Sonny Gray's career stats, this is who he is. This is the guy that he is. I mean, his best seasons, he's the Olympics. I mean, once every 4 years he comes around and has a great, and it's great to see him. But other than that, the other 3 years, he's just so. I mean, his 3 All-Star appearances, Rammer came in 2015, 2019, 2023. I mean, it's every 4 years he comes and he does this, and then he's a good starter the other 3 years. So, I mean, I can't wait for Sonny Gray 2027 here on the St. Louis Cardinals. He might win an MVP. He might win the Cy Young, when he's 37.
Everything has been proven out that you're right about that. I wish you would have beat me over the head with it, though, at the time.
I just thought everybody knew. You look at the numbers, and it was one of those where I didn't, you were going. I mean, they weren't getting Garrett Cole. They weren't getting prime Max Scherzer. They were getting Sonny Gray.
But Joe, so here's the thing. Now you've got 7 mediocre guys. You cannot win with 7 mediocre guys. You still need an ace.
Yeah. And I don't know who that ace is this offseason. I don't know if that's something you want to do, or if you went out and going and getting Eric Fetty was one of those answers for next year, and you just have a bunch of solid guys in your rotation to where if you get an ace and that ace gets hurt, then you're screwed.
But that goes for everybody.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
That's part of the game.
And you hit 4 solid guys out there, you lose one, you got 3 solid guys. And you're not, putting $40 million into one arm.
But you can't. I don't think you can win without an ace. We could go through the last 20 World Series, and there's probably a couple times that it's happened, but most of the time there is a stud leading the rotation. Wouldn't you agree?
But last year the Rangers lost their stud at the beginning of the year. They didn't have Jacob deGrom. Still hasn't done anything since being a Texas Ranger, and Jordan Montgomery stepped up and was that ace, and wasn't this year for the Diamondbacks for the most part. I mean, they had a guy step up.
Are you trying to suggest that you don't need an ace to win?
I suggest you go and you get another top of the line starting pitcher next year.
So, okay, now we're playing semantics. What does that mean?
If you go and you look at who some of the top starting pitchers are next year, Garrett Cole has an opt-out.
No, you're giving me names. I'm saying define it without giving me a name. Define what that – I'm saying ace. You're countering with top line. What's the difference?
I'd have to sit down and actually dial it. I mean, you're talking.
So my point is, why are we arguing? Because
a win-loss percentage, 75-25 split of win-loss on that with an ERA of around 3.
Well, in today's game, that's absolutely an ace, isn't it?
Right. But how many of those guys are there? And that's what I'm saying, top of the line guy. So I think top of the line guy and ace might mean the same thing to both of us in what we're saying. I think we're just putting different definitions on them.
I don't know how to respond.
I wish I could go right into Cardinal lineups for tonight, but there is no lineup out yet for tonight's 6:40 game, Cardinals and Brewers. Steven Matz is on the bump for the Cardinals. He makes his return for the first time since what was I
think I was about 7 or 8 years old.
Well, I mean, it was April 30th, Rammer. The last time that he pitched. He has 5 starts on the year, and it hasn't been great for Steven Matz.
It's funny about Matz so far. He has not been good and been hurt, but for whatever reason, I'm kind of a fan. I keep rooting for the guy. I probably not probably. I like him and have more confidence in him than he has earned.
He goes out and puts up these outings that make you realize what he could be. His first start this year against the Marlins, he went 5 innings, allowed 4 hits, and one walk, 3 strikeouts. So he went out there and he pitched to contact and got the Marlins out. But outside of that, I mean, he has these flashes where you look at it and you go, hey, that could be a number 2 in the rotation. That's a great lefty to have. And then he gets hurt and he's gone for 3 months. So it's tough to get excited about Steven Matz. My hope is that we see Michael McGreevy twice this month. I hope they figure out a way to get him at least one. I don't know how you fit 2 in there. If there's another injury to a pitcher, I think you get McGreevy twice.
Yeah, maybe. So, hopeful.
Yeah,
I'm hopeful of that.
That would be my hope at some point is we get a chance to see him. If we're giving Luke Baker a chance to play every day, if we're giving Jordan Walker a chance to play every day, you're wanting to see what some of these other young guys can do. I think you need to also offer that opportunity to some of the pitchers as well. And
yeah, I don't know how it works.
Yeah, so
because then it means you got a veteran who's not pitching, which is okay with me, but that's not typically what they do.
Or you just give him a couple of Plante starts. I mean, haven't we seen enough of Plante as a starter at this point?
I don't know what you mean.
I'm saying that you're talking about taking a start away from a veteran. I'm saying take a start away from Plante and just say, hey, you're going to back up.
He's your best guy.
Is he a guy that if he's in your rotation next year, you are confident this
I'm not
is a
talking
playoff
about
team?
Next year. I'm talking about September.
Okay, I'm talking about next year.
You're still trying to win games.
Okay.
And you're going to take your best guy out of the rotation? I'd like to manage against you.
Then I don't know what I don't know what the answer is.
It's complicated. My point is it's complicated.
Right now, it seems like they have a 6-man rotation right now. If you're putting Matz back into that rotation, you're giving everybody else a day off here and there and pushing their starts back. That's what it seems like.
I think go to a 7 or 8, go to a 10-man rotation. Who cares?
That'd be quite taxing on the bullpen for some of those nights. But it's Cardinals or Brewers 6:40 tonight. Rammer is the start time there. So see if the Cardinals can get back to a game over 500. I said this to Claves earlier. You could tell me that the Brewers have won every single game against the Cardinals this year, and I'd believe you because that's really what it seems like. It really does.
Just they slap us around. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. So it's frustrating, but we'll see how Steven Matt's return goes this evening. Until then, we will be back tomorrow with another edition of Daily Cards, brought to you each and every day by Munganess St. Louis Acura and Rammer Royal Banks.
Royal Banks of Missouri. You know, they grew up in St. Louis. They've expanded to the east side in St. Charles County and even 3 locations in Northeast Missouri. And each and every location feels like your hometown bank. Royal Banks of Missouri, where better service means better banking. Member FDIC, an equal opportunity lender.
He's Bob Ramsey. I'm Joe Roderick. Talk to you tomorrow right here on Daily Cards Live.
Munganess St. Louis Acura is making room for the 2025 MDX, so that means great deals for you on the 2024 MDX. We have over 100 2024 MDX models in stock, and you get financing as low as 3.9% for up to 60 months. Or you can lease a new MDX for just $559 per month for 36 months. Or get the MDX technology model for just $589 per month for 36 months. Munganess St. Louis Acura, better than ever for you.